Dear ones, I am Archangel Michael. I couldn't help but come here today. Within one of the rituals created on your planet, to spread suffering, spread pain, cultivate loss, today was created. For what purpose? Bring back the one who is gone, or just cry for the one who is gone. Suffer again? I do not despise nor minimize the suffering of any of you. Of course, we don't need to feel what you feel when you lose someone you love. We see suffering being expanded in your energy. It is an energy of pain, very clear to all of us. We are not insensitive, and much less do we not value suffering, this kind of suffering. You were taught attachment, they were taught to understand that when a person dies, it is over, that existence ended. Don't think that the vast majority know that there is a soul there, and that the soul is eternal. No, the vast majority don't believe that. So you think it all ended there. And then they wonder why? Why am I going through this suffering? Why? What did I do to deserve this? You always position yourself as those who are harmed. At no point do you think about the other, about that soul that passed away. That she left to live as a spirit, no longer incarnated. At some point you ask yourselves, what was that soul's journey? Why was she leaving at that moment? Suddenly, or by illness, or by an accident, it doesn't matter. That soul has a walk, and she made a choice. Yes, you all choose how you will die and when you will die. So there is no point, even if in your life path, you have formed families, you have formed friends, you are important to the world, at that time, the decision will be respected, because it is an agreement you make with the universe. Then why? Why think that you are the poor guy? Why did you lose the one you love? Nor is it the fact that you feel angry with the one who left, because he left early, it is the journey of that soul. So I can say to you, that all of you who have families, who have relatives, who have husbands, wives, children, friends, these connections are not for nothing, they are not created defined at the moment of birth. Connections are created by the lessons you have to learn. Then you attract those who will teach you the lessons, and those that you will be able to pass on what you have learned. So there is always an exchange, nothing is in vain. When a simple baby is born and leaves quickly, why? What's the point? The meaning was a lesson for that mother, for that father, to understand what loss is. Somehow they made someone feel it, then they are feeling the same thing they made someone else feel. No, it's not punishment, this is a lesson. What you provoke comes back to you. So that soul that came in that baby is an extremely evolved soul, that knows it will come and leave quickly, came to teach a lesson. So my brothers, once again I do not diminish anyone's suffering, I know how much you love and how much you suffer from losing those you love. But don't forget, they are souls, and that in a very brief future, if you are souls of light, who have had a journey throughout your existence, let it be clear, of light, you will have contact with all of them, because the fifth dimension allows it. Now, if you get there and don't make contact with them, don't feel diminished or angry, it's because that soul wasn't as enlightened as you thought, and she still has a lot to learn, to reach the stage you will be at. I don't have much to say here. The lesson is one, you are independent souls. Children are not the product of two souls, children are souls independent of their father and mother. Start seeing the people around you as independent souls. Nobody is tied to anyone. No one is anyone's property. No one is anyone's slave. So live in the moment, live that moment when you are happy with those souls by your side, because tomorrow you don't know what it will be like. So respect each other, love each other as you want to be loved. Live in the moment with the person you love, every minute. Don't leave telling him you love him tomorrow, because it might be too late. But it's not that I love you like a machine speaking, just to please the other's ego. Because many of you do this, they say I love you to hear the other person say it back, even if the other person doesn't feel like saying it. You talk so that the other person talks back, and the ego becomes inflated. Ah, so he loves me too. I'm mistaken. Many times you hear the other respond, and he doesn't love you as you think. So saying, I love you, has to be that moment of great love, that moment of surrender, that moment of pure passion for both of you, in which one looks into the other's eyes and sees his complement there. So at this moment it's worth saying I love you, because there you are really giving yourself, you are exposing all your feelings. Now say it without waiting for a response, because that other person may not like saying it all the time. Love is not words, love is actions, moments, attention, affection, this is love. It's not saying I love you. This is very bookish. You learn this in your soap operas, where when someone says I love you, oh, what a great scene comes there. Life is not like that. To love is to love. You love because you love. The other person is not obliged to love you the way you love them. He can love you, respecting you, giving you affection, giving you attention, and not have the love you have, but he is a companion, he is a friend, or a companion, a friend, and he is with you at all times. Is I love you the most important thing? You hear this, or everyday life, or that complicity, or that affection, that friendship between the two? So in the same way, think about everyone. Respect each person's way of being. Don't want the other person to be the way you want them to be. Nobody molds themselves to what you want. This may happen for a while, but then the person wakes up, and you won't like what you see at all, because they are no longer that little doll that you manipulated. Why am I saying all this? Because death has love in its midst. The love of respecting that soul, the love of looking at the sky, and saying, thank you Father or Mother God for having lived with this wonderful soul. I am grateful to have been part of her life, to have learned from her and to have been able to teach her a lot too. So look from another side. Give thanks for having been part of that soul's life, that soul's journey. This connection will never be terminated. A connection, once created, is never closed. It weakens, but you will always have these people attached to you. So instead of crying, thinking that the world has ended, because that soul is gone, be grateful for having lived, however long it was, for having lived with that soul, having been part of her journey and knowing that you created a connection with her, and that this connection, if desired, you will see again.